Okay, this episode of Jocks and Jills, as always, is brought to you by our friends at Shark Ninja. We love all three of their brands, Shark Beauty, Shark Home, and Ninja Kitchen. Tessa, you recently became an air fryer person. I have been an air fryer person for a minute because I was a university student in the era of 2016 to 2020. So naturally, I was just dropped off with an air fryer and hoped to figure out what I was doing. And I have figured that out in the last couple of years, but my air fryer game improved a lot when I got the Ninja Kitchen Ninja Crispy. It is the most efficient air fryer ever. You know I hate doing the dishes after
Why? What's the
using an
difference
air
between
fryer.
yours and mine? What's the difference between you and me?
Is small. So you have the double, what's it called again? Double stacked Ninja Kitchen air fryer. I have the Ninja Crispy. Mine is 2 glass containers that comes with a top. And basically you can use it to air fry. You can use it to heat stuff up. You can use it to re-crisp stuff. Like, you ever order Uber Eats and you get the fries and they're so sad? Sad and smooshy. It's the worst. When you order any sort of delivery service, you have the Ninja Crispy, you throw the fries in there, and it's like you just left the drive-thru. It's amazing. So you got to get in on the Ninja Crispy. And like I said right at the top here, we're big fans of all 3 of Shark Ninja's brands, Shark Beauty, Shark Home, and Ninja Kitchen. Shark Ninja is a proud founding partner of the PWHL and presenting sponsor here at Jocks and Jills. All right, episode 29 of Jocks and Jills. Before we get going on the PWHL news, we're based out of Toronto, Tessa. Literally right before we started recording this, I was in an event all morning, so I didn't see this news until we sat down, but you broke the news to me. Serena Williams bringing her talents to Toronto, kind of, as a part owner of the new WNBA franchise, the Toronto Tempo. Pumped.
One of the owners. I'm so stoked on this. You played the angle of another dig at Drake taking the team. Like, these are my ladies.
That's what I said to Tessa immediately. Like, this has got to be a dig at Drake. Like, he's positioned himself so firmly. Maybe it's not a dig at Drake because, I'd like to think Serena Williams doesn't have to think about her ex, because if Serena Williams is still thinking about her ex, I can't. I don't know. No. There's no hope for any of us. But yeah, kind of a cool thing. You know how positioned he is with the Raptors, and now she's
which is great. Tempo. Have the Raptors, and I think it was great that he obviously used his voice and his platform.
He has been advocating
to help convince the league, come on to Toronto, and they did. Awesome. I love that it's Serena. Is there, outside of Oprah, another more powerful woman than Serena Williams? I love Serena Williams. Fan from since she was just a petite bébé playing in her first tournaments and stuff. And everybody's loved. Well, I feel like they did go through a rough time, but she's just been that athlete that has kind of always been at the forefront of gender shows no boundaries. A superstar is a superstar, and that's what I am, bitch. You know what I mean? That's kind of the angle that she's always taken, and I've always kind of been like, God, yes, lead us, lead that. I
feel
charge,
like it's
girl.
A little known Tessa Bonham fact that you covered tennis at TSN for a long time.
That's how I started at TSN. Yeah. Actually, they asked me to cover tennis. No idea what I was doing. Tennis fan, watched,
of course.
Wasn't in it completely. Megan Redwood, who now produces in the PWHL for TSN, she was my producer and my starter. Poor girl had to put up with this green kid that didn't even take broadcasting in university. Is I don't know. I basically came in picking my nose.
She did that with me too. Poor Megan had to deal with both of us so green.
Both of us. Nonetheless, it's going to be so sick. I love that Serena is going to be in Toronto, hopefully on the reg. I want to be her best friend. We probably won't, but it's fine.
My gosh. Can you imagine seeing Serena courtside in Toronto? I will be sick.
Can I tell you something? I love tennis. I had an ex of mine. We used to always play tennis, and tennis is the greatest secret workout. It's not even secret. It's the greatest workout ever. You're having so much fun. You're laughing. You're frustrated. You're angry. It's the best therapy ever. It's the wicked cardio. And literally when I saw Serena was becoming part owner of the Tempo, I was I'm signing up for tennis lessons again. I'm going to get good, because there might be a chance that someone's going to be oh yeah, Serena's just going to do a hit around over here. I'm going to be bring in my A game. This is it. I'm ready. I'm already stretched. I am warm. Let's get to it. I want to hit some balls with Serena.
Absolutely. Yeah. So cool to have her. Man, she's going to be in the city. So cool. She's part of WNBA
we gotta get her to a PWHL
She
game.
She has to come to a PWHL game. I feel like
You're
Serena Williams would
building.
like hockey. Yeah,
girl,
dude,
she would love it.
Yeah. Wasn't she born in Saginaw, Michigan? And then grew up in LA?
I don't know her birthplace.
Yeah, I feel like I only know that because of that Memorial Cup I did in Saginaw and shouted her out. she's got junior hockey ties. That's such a stretch.
Let's
She's
stretch
if you
this
connect
right
a
out.
few dots, I think Serena Williams should be a hockey fan, and she definitely would be a women's hockey fan. I know that.
In the industry, this is what we call a reach, but we're doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. So pumped for more WN. Like everything I hear about the Toronto Tempo, I love their colors. I love their logo. I'm so excited for them to come to town. So, and we're mutuals on Instagram with the Toronto Tempo. So they're our BFF basically. What else is new this week?
I got to tell you something.
How's your weekend?
No, I got to stop you because you know why, Julia? I've been getting some text messages. I know that you and Buckles were getting all creative on the social side because that's what you guys do. And you're like I believe it was last episode or the episode prior, can't remember. You were like, hey guys, we're going to make new posts about the walk-ins and the top, 5, 10 fashion outfits of the week. And you posted them and I'm thinking this is going to be so fun and interactive. Like, can't wait to check them all out. I loved every outfit, by the way, that you guys selected. However, I had received a few text messages from some players saying, what in the actual heck? Like, where am I in that? Did you not see my fit? A couple players in particular, Taylor Heisey and Grace Zumwinkle, who were twinning.
I love
in
that
a
you're
rockin'
gonna out
outfit.
them.
Yeah,
I love it.
Absolutely.
Dude, I got some angry messages too.
Because I saw it. I'm like, because it's not just one person wearing a nice outfit. They doubled down on it. And you know that they're BFFs. There's a whole thing there. I don't know. I felt bad. I was like, you know what? I will bring it to the attention of Julia and Buckles.
It's been brought to the committee. The committee is Buckles and I, and that's a really comprehensive fashion committee. And we decided that the faux pas on that outfit was that Sarah Nurse wore it the week before. I think. Oh, she wore it in Montreal.
Really?
Great outfit. Same one. And I was at the game where she wore it. It might have been 2 weeks before, actually. It was Montreal, Toronto. So it was a great outfit, so much so that it's been worn like 3 times, ladies, for the walk-in. So you would have had to go really crazy with the accessories.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I'm like acting like I'm standing on business. It probably would have made it if we hadn't already gotten to 7 or 10, whatever it was. So Buckles and I, like, our process is we're just like sending outfits back and forth as the week goes on. And then Sundays we start to whittle it down, and then Buckles puts it all together for us on Mondays. So, but I want the players to like get engaged in this. Like, if you think your outfit is fire, make sure you tag us. Send it. 100%. Don't let us miss it. Don't let us miss it. That's all I'll say. Don't let yourself. I go through all the teams upload. Obviously, we're part of the PWHL, so I get to go into all the team albums and I look at all the walk-in photos every game. So I have access to all of them. But if you really think yours deserves a flag, feel free to throw your ring in the hat. Like, we will take considerations. We're excited about it.
You're going to get bribes now. You know what's going to happen, right? You're getting bribed.
I'm open to bribes. I'll take money, candy, tags on social media. Like, whatever you want to give me, I'll take a bribe.
I love it. That's the best. So recently, Ed was asked to be the keynote speaker at his high school football banquet. Yeah,
that's cool.
He made like the all-time team that they made.
Ed, why do you think Ed was like more of a rugby guy than a football guy?
So funny you say that because he did play football like through high school and university. However, a lot of the players that he played with and his buddies that I talked to were like, he should have pursued rugby. Like, guy was an unreal rugby player. And you talked to Ed and he's like, sure, yeah, I may have been good at rugby. I just didn't know all the rules.
Ed still looks like he could play rugby.
Yeah. But he probably could. Actually, you know what? No, he's got a bad ankle. He blew up his ankle right before I met him. So
like, no one should play rugby really after the age of like 25. It's painful as hell. One of my girlfriends plays in like a beaches league. She's like, do you want to play rugby this summer? I'm like, no, I love myself. What do you mean?
Girl,
that doesn't sound
your
casual.
Face. You don't want to lose teeth. You don't want a black eye. Your ears. My gosh.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we went to that banquet. It was awesome. And I was like, he's like, yeah, so anyways, I'm going to be gone on this night. You'll have the kids. And I was like, well, whoa, we're bringing the kids to the banquet. And he's like, oh, you want to come? I'm like, yes, it's important for the kids to see their dad do something like this and be celebrated. Like, it's very important. Now, I have a 4 and 3-year-old. I don't think I really thought this one through. So it was
thought it was going to be like an impressionable memory for them.
Well, no, because like, so for instance, Theo doesn't like, I say public speaking. Theo doesn't like presenting in front of his class. So his class always has the VIP days where they have to bring in a picture or something and they talk about whatever. Right now, it's about like, any type of holiday or tradition that your family has, and you get to go in and talk about it. And his day is coming up. And so he's like, I don't want to do this. He's like panicking. So then I was like,
did he pick anything?
Yes, he picked that we go to the cottage with our families every summer. Yeah, we rent a cottage and we go up for a week, both sides of the family. And so I wanted him to see, because that Ed did it, and that, I wanted Ed to tell him, like, he was nervous, but he went up and then everybody clapped for him at the end, whatever. So I'm expecting Theo to be engaged in this.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell I was
being
thinking.
The public speaking example in your family is really funny based on what we're doing right this second. But let's keep going.
Whatever. He did really well. He wrote an awesome speech.
Oh, I'm sure he did. That is great.
Yeah. And so, like, the kids were so good. We sit down to eat, they eat, and it's time for Ed to get up. And all of a sudden, Theo, who is wearing these dress shoes that were probably a half size too big for him, starts running around. So you just hear like clopping. And I'm like, oh no. And then of course, Annie's like, yo, my brother's doing that. I am joining in this mess. So it's hosted in the cafeteria that they have a stage, whatever. We're all at these long tables. Anyway, so they're ripping around the tables. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to listen to his speech really bad.
Is there any other small children there?
No, not at all.
No.
These are high school kids and their parents. And so I'm like, oh my God, the keynote speaker's kids are being dicks. Like, what do I do? So I get up, I like football carry both of them right to the hallway. I'm like, run, go to the end and back, go to the end and back. They hadn't even had sugar yet. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I need to just pull out the worst mom card ever. There's a vending machine here. I'm going to get some Welch's gummies and sit them down.
Could be way worse, dude. Welch's fruit chews, like, I actually
really good.
Become a demon around them. I can't have them in my house. I can't have them near me. They say fruit chews, so I convince myself there's something natural about them.
But
like,
they're
those
insane.
Are the devil. I can eat a whole big bag. Especially when they say real fruit on them. I'm like, oh,
we have like a Costco size. We have a Costco size box of them in our house, and it's like sometimes you could ask the kids.
That's almost better though, because they have mini bags in them, right? So you can portion yourself.
No. Next thing you know, the box is empty and Theo's got no treats for his lunch. Anyways, so I start ripping around. I'm like, let's sit down. They had these little booths on the side while Ed's speaking. Let's sit down. We'll eat some of these. So the kids mash them. And then Theo's like climbing over the table, like trying to do a bunch of stuff. And in my head, I'm just like, of course this is happening. And Ed didn't even realize we had changed locations. He thought I just took them and left. He was like, did you guys even hear me? I'm like, yes. But the greatest part was, I will say this. So they were celebrating the flag football ladies and the football team, the senior and juniors. And so the flag football ladies were sitting closest to the little booth. I tried to block them in. And when it was done, I'm like, yay, you guys, daddy's done. Cheer for him. And Theo's like, stands up and they're like, yay. So they start clapping and the girls' table turns and looks. And of course, Theo, being the most shy human being in the entire world, ducks back into the booth under the table. Not Annie. Annie was like, oh, you're looking at me? And she was like, way to go, daddy. And everyone was like, oh, Ed heard none of it. He didn't hear it. He didn't see it. I was like, that was the moment I wanted for you, man. Anyways, it was just like, why do kids pick... it's like they sniff out the moments when you're at your weakest, like when you're so tired and run down. That's when they're like, I'm going to be on my worst behavior today. Or it's like, this looks like a really nice setup, ceremony we got going on. I'm going to clop around in my shoes that are too big and scream and yell.
Dress shoes.
While my dad's talking. I'm like, God, am I a bad mom? Or like, what is that? Are my kids just smart? Excited. I don't know. Anyways, maybe they were excited. It was a new space, new place.
Yeah, dude. And you can't I always when I used to go to restaurants, I feel bad for parents. And I feel like there's less bandwidth now. I used to act a mess, I'm sure. There used to be more of a societal and community feel about raising kids. And now it's like, those aren't my damn kids. Get them out of my face, kind of a vibe in society.
I feel like that.
I don't want to see that kid till they're 6. Yeah. Keep them in the house until they're 7.
Remember when you used to look over the booth into the family in the next booth?
Yes. Yeah, right. And everyone would giggle. Now everybody gets
I don't think
mad.
that happens anymore.
Why not? But what do you expect with kids? You bring them to a restaurant or something like that. And then I feel even worse for parents because you give the kid an iPad and then you get a side eye from the table next to you when your kid is actually being quiet.
And you know what? Maybe we're just hypersensitive.
That's true too. You called me for that one day too with Enzo. I was feeling bad that the dog was jumping up on people and you were literally no one noticed. And I was all embarrassed by it.
Yeah, it's true. Whatever. Anyways, how are you doing? I know you had a tough, Julia. My condolences. I sent them already. I sent you a lot of heart emojis.
Listen, I got to send thank you to the Jocks and Jills family for supporting me at this time. I broke my hairbrush, my pink hairbrush. If you've been following along Jocks and Jills since the beginning, like, you know, that thing has taken me to many benches and world championships and Memorial Cups and like World Juniors and PWHL playoffs and like so many awesome that's been to the PWHPA bench at Mattamy Athletic Center. Like that brush has seen eras. I've had that thing for so long and I wish it had a better story. Like I wish it had a really heroic story that it got to save my hair one last time. I had a knot. I really had to brush it out and it ripped. I wish she got to go down a hero, but I was just brushing my hair and it cracked on me a couple mornings ago.
And like we all feel so bad. We do. And it's a sad moment. But like there's like, I think of a light undertone of everybody with the, oh, thank God, you know? And we have a buddy that works at TSN.
On the weekend that I'm broadcasting and I'm like, can I do this anymore? Like
Julia. Gallo,
you know
a guy that we worked for at TSN, his mother runs this company, Framer.
Yes.
We talked about this. It's a female run. She started this thing. It's wicked awesome. He gave you a brush. These brushes are awesome. It. Yes, he gifted you one.
Okay, I have to look deeper into my
If
archive.
not, I have an extra one you can have. Okay. I will mail it to you or I will just Uber it to you, whatever. Regardless, use these brushes. These are the only brushes Annie chooses to use. I try and put another brush in her hair and she's like, no. So,
I know, it's nothing about the quality of the brush that I have. It's like the sentimental value. But anyways, like I could get a new brush or my brush is way easier to carry around now. So the brush will not fully die. The brush will stay in rotation. It's way easier to throw in my bag without a handle.
You can't let her go.
Don't try to make me. I literally was like, how am I going to do this Saturday game?
Cut the cord.
With no brush. I can't do it. Yeah, cut the cord is probably fair. I did a fun event this morning with Amazon Prime and the PWHL. Cool. Some Toronto Scepters were at Amazon's like main hub at York and Bremner in Toronto. Such a cool space. I'm always amazed when I get to go into tech spaces because like you and I have never worked in a space like that. I'm always like, if I worked in a techie like office like this, would I be healthier and better dressed and like more organized? Like I wonder what it would be like. But it was such a great event. Rachel Flanagan, the Toronto Scepters assistant coach, was kind of the special guest at the event. And like we have to get her on the podcast because she's so good. She did so many years at the University of Guelph. Like she's so beloved in the women's hockey community. And at the end, she was like, hey, if I come on your podcast, because she was the head coach of the University of Guelph for so long. And Liam, my boyfriend, went to Guelph as well. And they crossed over in their time there. And we would always hang out with the girls team. Like when I would go out with Liam's hockey team, it would wind up being me hanging out with the girls hockey team and Liam hanging out with his friends. Like I loved the women's hockey team at Guelph. I felt a part of it almost. The girls hockey team house and the men's hockey team house were next to one another and I'd always like just ditch the boys hockey house and go to the girls hockey house. And she was like, I could reverse Uno you on your podcast if I come on because I'm going to ask all the girls for stories about you going out. So unfortunately, Rachel was great today, but she will be put on the back burner for coming.
Nice that you got to talk to some. Yeah, nice that you got to talk to the Scepters. I feel like we're in Toronto and they're the hardest team to lock down for interviews. My gosh,
I know they're busy this week, but a couple games. But hopefully, we'll be able to. I know somebody was saying to us recently they did a count. Thank you to whoever on Instagram is doing like a count of a tally of like what teams we're interviewing, players from which teams. Toronto is only at 1 so far this season. We know, guys, we will get more Toronto players in the mix.
Yeah,
soon. So that is
it's not for a lack of trying. Not a lack for trying.
Yeah. So that is one apology we have to make. Our second apology is to our American listeners. We've been receiving some messages. We are rubbing it in their faces that we can get free delivery from Pizza on days that Toronto, Ottawa, or Montreal can play by using the code, obviously, PWHLDEL, PWHLDEL on pizzapizza.com or in the app.
And being very Canadian, I should also apologize. So it's coming from the both of us. We're sorry we keep ordering tasty, delicious pizza and mind-blowing loaded tots, all the while receiving free delivery and avoiding any cleanup with your family and friends. So we're sorry. We're sorry that our bellies are just as happy as our wallets after we feast. I feel like, that was an apology too.
Yeah. What we aren't sorry for, though, is continually using these PWHL games as an excuse to indulge. So we're going to keep doing that. But we're sorry for rubbing it in your faces.
Friendly reminder, though, everyone. The offer is available on Pizza Pizza app or their website. Get to it. We love you guys, both north and south of the border.
Okay, our headlines this week in the PWHL. Only one game to go through, Tess, this week.
Yeah.
And it feels like a good game to center around and talk about and hype up and be the only game on the schedule. Because it was the Bell Center game and it was amazing. Laura Stacey, OT hero. We'll get to those dramatics. Before the game even started, there were some dramatics. Catherine Dubois, we were so worried about her. One of our favorite interviews we've ever done on this podcast. So heartbreaking after we heard everything she's been through, to see her go back on LTIR. But she's back in the lineup for this Saturday game. So good to see.
And what timing. The Bell Center game. 17,000 plus fans. And she was in the mix out there. I was wondering how she was going to be inserting herself, if she was actually healthy enough to come back, or if she was on the cusp and she was just pulling the old athlete's card where it's I'm good, I'm going kind of thing.
I'm playing in this game. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've all done it. But I was nice to see her back in there. It was nice to see her causing a muck in front of the net. It was just good to see her back to healthy. It almost felt like I was a proud mom in that moment. I was yay. I'm so proud of you.
I know, we love her so much. She's our Jocks and Jill's mascot. She's the best.
Your brush is the mascot. Who are we kidding?
You're so right.
But yeah, and our beloved Jill. Who could we forget? I got to start hanging this thing back up in the background. I feel do you miss this?
Someone recently, when we were at the Scotiabank game, I think somebody came up to us in person and said, you guys don't talk about Tessa's Jill enough anymore. And you know what happened? It's because somebody came on and was no, I wear a Jill like that. And we were oh, that's way less funny now.
Yeah, who was that again?
Anymore. I don't know, but they ruined our bit. Whoever it was. We have to keep the bit going.
I was no part mad about that. I was finally.
I was. I think that's why I stopped bringing it up.
I knew there was another one out there.
Well, if everybody's not on my side, I'm not bringing this up anymore. I can't risk them siding with you.
Do you want to know what's funny? Is the fact that this is it's usually on the table between us. And my last Shirley Girlies game that I had, someone took a slap shot from the point randomly, and I was kind of in the line of it, and I went, oh no, and then I was whew, thank God that didn't hit me, and I'm oh my God, I haven't been wearing my Jill.
How have you been keeping your socks
I was
up?
This is, because I have a garter belt, Julia.
Right.
I don't have the silly Velcro that you have. Yeah, and I'm an avid Jill wearer. I am protect that pelvic bone, ladies. Because remember when Abby Rock was I just don't wear it. And I'm you're an insane person. Yeah. I am that insane person without even realizing it, because we are using my gnarly Jill in all its glory as a prop.
Yeah, I know. And that's what I feel people don't realize that Tessa still actively wears that Jill. That's still all around our set. People are oh, it's still in the mix.
It is not retired.
Anyways, we started to go off the rails there.
Sorry.
But still pregame for a second. Love to see the Boston coaches come in wearing Bruins jerseys. I thought that was a good play. I thought it was fun. Yeah. I thought it was a nice little dig off the ice. I love stuff like that.
Coach Courtney Kessel wearing Phil's jersey. It was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then I like how they always coordinate on the bench too. They're always a coordinated unit of outfits. Could the coaches get in on the walk-in fashion?
I did. We've thought about it, because the Boston one, we're do we include this? Because it's really good. So I think we might include the Boston one.
Okay. We'll have to wait and see. Anyways, back to the game. We're sidetracky today. We are so off on a tangent.
We only have one game to talk about, so we're taking full advantage of that, obviously.
Yeah. But holy smokes, obviously playing in the Bell Center for Montreal players. Corey Chevry talked on it in French, might I add. Good for you, Chev. Yeah. Just what it means to play in an arena like that when you are French Canadian. And clearly, the intros, the player intros, how raucous it was. Montreal being Montreal, just loving on their ladies. I felt oh man, this can go one of two ways for these girls. They could either come out shell-shocked, or they're just going to come out, firing. And sure enough, they did. Ambrose said in the pregame interview, which was perfect with Anastasia, our friend, Anastasia Buxis, that works for CBC. On that broadcast shoot, Anastasia asked her, all right, Aaron, you're coming up against the Green Monster. She's been one of the best goalies this season, aside from yours. What do you got to do to get past her? She was we just have to take our eyes away. It took all of 36 seconds for them to put what Ambrose said into motion. It was right off the start, puck was in. That line was forechecking. It was getting moved from one side to the other to the other. Puck goes back to Katie Tabin. And it was just Drive-by screens I find sometimes far more effective than stationary screen. And what I mean by a drive-by is like when a player skates in front of a goaltender to take her eyesight away for a hot second as the puck is coming in to kind of throw them off, which is kind of what took place, although there was ruckus battling happening in front as well. Anyways, great shot by her. I love that it was just pucks on net kind of thing. And Katie Tabin found the back of the net. That was her first goal of the game. That was her second goal of the season, I believe. First goal of the game. And then I need to talk about Pelkey's goal because she took, to tie it up before the period ended, she took, Julia, I don't know if you saw the hit. It was like more of a collision than a hit that she took. Her stick went flying. She did like, it looked like a parkour tumble roll. Like, it, you know what I mean? But it like was hard. And I was like, oh man, she's for sure going to change. No, puck somehow finds its way, making a crazy bounce. She's in on a breakaway. Desbiens, I feel like, is 2 feet outside of her crease. I'm like, I don't know. In my head, I'm like, oh, she's probably going to skate in as far as she could and, you know, push her back in the net, either make a move or go roof daddy on it. She winds up a clapper from the tops of the circles. And as she was doing it, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, why is she doing that? I don't know how she got this puck past Desbiens because I was like, Desbiens got her angles covered. Don't know what you're doing. She went low blocker to perfection. It was like, it didn't even hit the post and go in. It was like right inside of the post in.
Yeah.
With like, I don't know, I'll call that mom strength because that shot was a cannon. It was unreal. I was just like, wow, bravo. Like kudos to you guys. Anyways, Boston gained the lead. I felt like in that third period, actually for the whole second period, it was crazy because Montreal had complete momentum for like the first 6 minutes. Frankel doing Frankel stuff really held down the fort and kept the team in the game. You know, giving them the opportunity to take that lead. But then it was like third period, I felt like, I don't know, maybe it was the point where I was like, did all of Boston eat like a pound of poutine before going out for the third? I don't even know if they got a shot in the third period, to be quite honest. I got to pull up these stats because it's insane. I don't even think they got a shot in the third period where I was like, what the heck? And obviously Toronto ties it up to send it into OT, which is like, makes it super exciting, obviously at the Bell Center because this is what they want.
Yeah.
But like Frankel did everything and more to keep her team into this game and obviously snagging a point, which is something that Boston is really good at doing. They're like, if we're going to lose a game, we're going to, you know, drag you down. Yeah, they didn't have any shots in the third. We're going to drag you down with us. We're going to snag a point and force you to fight for your life to get this extra point. But in overtime, they woke up because Boston had crazy chances before Stacey with the game-winning goal with seconds left on the clock. Like Hillary Knight hits the post. Tapani had a wicked chance. Rattray was on a breakaway and lost the handle. Like, think about that. That's 3 solid chances in a short overtime period where Boston could have really put this thing away and walked out of the Bell Center, hushing the crowd with 2 points, and they would have taken second place. But I mean, it's the Bell Center and it's Montreal. So did we expect that finish? Yeah. Stacey with the game-winning goal, diving effort. It was like crazy. And on top of it, I was kind of like blowing my nails and brushing them off on my shoulder because if I recall correctly, my FanDuel on Friday, I said I picked the over on 4.5. So when it was 2-1 and the time was running down, I'm like, God, like, was that the pick? I'm like, no, Montreal's got to get it done. Like, this is the Bell Center. Anyways, they ended up getting done and I got the over on 4.5.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Nailed
Guys, you got to be listening to our FanDuel Friday 5 with our FanDuel picks on Friday. Yeah, that was a great game at the Bell Center. I kind of had forgotten.
Wicked.
And Toronto had Montreal's number all last season. I forgot that Montreal didn't win the Bell Center game last year, that Toronto spoiled that party. So awesome that Montreal was able to win. Always amazing to see that Poulin ovation at the beginning of the game. Like, no matter where she's playing in that part of the country, like she's gonna get an insane ovation.
Yeah, they were doing the poo chants. I was giggling. I recorded it. I was like, I'm gonna show Theo this in the morning because it's potty humor for him. She's his favorite player because her name is Pooh. And he doesn't understand that she actually is the GOAT. Like it's a solid pick just based on nickname alone. But I like had a little giggle.
That is so good. I didn't know that that's why she was his favorite, but that checks out.
Yeah. That's very Theo. Yeah.
Man, the goalie matchup in that game was absolutely insane. 2 of the best in the PWHL. I feel like that leads us to Spicy Tendies. Okay, Spicy Tendies is brought to you by Ninja Kitchen. Experience the power of the #1 air fryer brand in Canada. I just was hyping up how much I love my Ninja Crispy. Nothing ever gets delivered to my house without going in the Ninja Crispy. When things get delivered, they're sad and soggy. You put it in the Crispy and they're happy. Anyways, Tessa, both goalies in the game at the Bell Center game were amazing. Who kind of caught your eye this week as the spiciest Tendy, the P-Dub?
Erin Frankel got it last time, and she'll obviously get the 1B because she had a fantastic game. She didn't come away with the win, though. But I think it's important. We haven't given Anne-Renee Desbiens her flowers enough this season. She has been nothing but fantastic this whole season. I forget who it was that mentioned Debbie. It might have even been Chev, Coach Corey, saying just how she has been nothing but, the solid foundation for this team throughout the entire season, always giving them a chance to stay in it, making big saves, just being so consistent night in and night out. And I remember when I read that quote, I was thinking to myself, I actually don't remember the last time I could say that Desbiens had an underwhelming game. And so for this reason, another huge win on a big stage for a French-Canadian goaltender. Do you know how important French-Canadian goaltenders are to Montreal?
Pivotal.
Huge.
Love them there.
So for her, she gets her first win at the Bell Center and her first win, believe it or not, against Erin Frankel in 7 career head-to-head starts.
Oh, that is an interesting stat, especially thinking back to the postseason last year, how much trouble Erin Frankel in Boston gave Montreal in trying to score, especially with them scoring 5 seconds in, and Erin Ambrose saying that and about getting in her eye line.
Yeah.
Is how you get pucks past her. Like, that feels like a pretty significant thing for Montreal when it comes to, thinking about the postseason.
Huge. And I'll say this once and I'll probably say it again, but Anne-Renee Desbiens is a very large reason why this Montreal Victoire team is sitting in first place, and a very big reason why they are my #1 pick for being a Walter Cup contender.
She's clutch. She knows how to lock in big moments, and
absolutely
she's shown that over and over again throughout her career. All right, and that kind of wraps up Spicy Tendy as Erin Frankel gets the nod this week. Our interview this week, Tessa, is brought to you by Royale Tiger Paper Towel. Power through tough messes. We're going back to Ottawa for this one. Someone that you got to play a little bit with. Someone that is well loved in the PWHL in Ottawa. She's the captain of that team. She's like captain mom as well with her twins and her little daughter June. Brianne Jenner on the Jocks and Jills podcast. I'm trying to think about what stood out from this one. This is a great chat.
Oh, a bouquet of flowers. A special bouquet of flowers is what sticks out to me, Julia.
Oh, that'll be on social media so fast. Enjoy this one, guys. Brianne Jenner on Jocks and Jills. Okay, Ottawa fans, here is one that you will be very excited about. Hockey fans in general will be excited about it. Someone we've been pumped to sit down with on the pod. Someone we might have been harassing for like the last year or so to get to sit down with us. We finally got
definitely since season 1. I'm sorry for bugging you, Jenner, all of the time.
Hi, Brianne Jenner. Welcome to Jocks and Jills. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to get on here,
No.
but I'm pumped to sit down with you guys.
No,
what, like you're busy?
You.
Not at all.
Yeah, a bit of a crazy day-to-day life for you right now, and we'll definitely get into that. Before we do, though, let's go all the way back to the beginning. Let's go back to Oakville, Ontario, where your love of hockey began. We always like to, in the Jocks and Jills podcast, start at the beginning of a player's story. So tell us about Brianne Jenner falling in love with hockey as a little gal.
Well, I think I had sort of a quintessential Canadian story in that I grew up skating on a rink my dad built in the front yard. As a kid who loved sports kind of from an early age, I had this amazing childhood because we lived on a school campus and my dad had the master key. So, we'd go get into the swimming pool, the hockey arena, the squash courts, soccer field right out front, in front of my house. So, amazing memories there growing up at Appleby College and learned to skate there. Had a lot of great friends there and a lot of good memories there.
I didn't realize that you got to be a little tiny human there, but then also end up going there. That's crazy. I had no idea that you learned to skate there and stuff.
Yeah, it kind of came full circle. I mean, my dad was teaching there, and then we moved to St. Catharines he had moved jobs, and then for high school ended up back there. So it was kind of cool.
That's like every parent's, you have 3 kids, so it's like every parent's dream, I feel, to have just that at your fingertips. Like, what are we going to do today? I don't know. You guys want to go play squash? Like, go run, be busy, get tired, come on home. We'll feed you, get to bed. Like, do you know what I mean? And on top of it, like you're an incredible athlete. So it's just free. I don't want to say free training because your dad was obviously putting time and hours in to work, but it's free training for your kids to just hone in on whatever skill. Like you dabbled in basically every sport and you ended up just picking hockey, which is really cool.
Yeah, it was so fun. Like for a kid, like I said, that loves sports, like just to be able to go to the swimming pool when we were bored on a Sunday, like it was amazing.
What was your number 2 sport?
Growing up, it was soccer. Yeah, I did soccer quite competitively. Kind of miss it, but been playing sewer a lot pre-game, so getting some of the skills back.
Scratches the itch.
Yeah.
When did you have to pick, Brianne? Like, did you have to pick at some point? I'm really going to dial it in on soccer or hockey.
I think I started to just make that decision myself in high school. But I was playing lots of different sports, I think, up until sort of grade 9 and 10 when it started to become really serious with, Team Ontario opportunities and things like that. But still played basketball for my high school and soccer for my high school and things like that.
You've got an older brother that's like 5 years older than you, Graham. So like you didn't become a goalie, but I just figured if he was into hockey, he would force you in net. Was there ever moments with you and him where he was just like, you're the younger sister and you do as I say, stand there and get hit?
We don't really have that dynamic, Graham and I.
No?
No, he's my best friend. I look up to him in every facet of my life. And he's amazingly successful and hardworking and a great parent. But he wasn't that big brother bully. Like, I mean, occasionally we'd wrestle and things like that. But I think I probably nagged him more to play hockey. He was a little bit more balanced in his interest than I was. I think I was a little hockey obsessed. But yeah, he loved hockey, but I don't think the same level that I did. So
hockey obsessed is right. Julia, I talked to Brenda, her mother, and who is a beautiful human being, by the way, one of my favorite people. Apparently, Jenner, can you confirm or deny that you were so diehard on hockey as a kid that before going to school, sometimes you put tape on like your jeans or your pants to make it look like shin guards?
That's what Brenda says. I think Brenda exaggerates some stories, but there is photo evidence. I'd put clear tape around my leggings and
just as like an accessory, Jenner?
Yeah, an accessory is a great way to put it.
That's amazing. Like it didn't serve a purpose. It wasn't keeping your leggings in place or anything.
No,
like it was just meant to be like, I play hockey just so you guys know.
Yeah. Exactly.
Some kids bedazzle, other kids put tape on their pants.
Mm-hmm.
That's so awesome.
So good. But your mom had to have played like a huge part in your success. I feel like just I obviously played and trained with you, Brianne, and just getting to know your family and how great and compassionate and loving and like also competitive your mom is. I feel like she probably played a huge role in your success and in your career.
Yeah, I don't think I would be who I am without her. Both her and my dad. I think just unconditional love and support, and we're always pushing me, I think, to be at my best, but I think also at the same time not letting me get too big of a head. They're very good at that as well. But I think I just appreciate, especially now that I'm a parent, I just really appreciate every opportunity that they gave me and the unconditional support that they gave me, and I hope I can give half of that to my kids.
Yeah, we already see it. Honestly, seeing June and stuff at the games, it's really cool to see her sit with your mom. I feel like there's another person in your hockey career that might say that she helped turn you into the player that you are today. I didn't realize that you and Jill Saunier had known one another since you were like 11 and 12 years old.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't even fully understand how that's possible. Like, what were you doing on the East Coast for a hockey camp when you met Jill Saunier?
Her dad.
Yeah.
Your dad played a part in that, right?
Yeah. So Appleby College recruiting for Appleby. Actually, it might have been recruiting for Ridley, but a lot of Maritimers came out to Ontario still do for prep schools and things like that. So we'd go out to Allen
That's what
Andrews.
I mean. It's usually the reverse. Like you usually don't go out east. They usually come here.
So we go out every summer because my dad would recruit those players. So I'd go out and do the hockey school. Because obviously that's a great fit for me. And I think when I was maybe 12 and Jill was 11, the owner of the hockey school, who is now passed, a great man named Alan Andrews, was like, "Oh, Jill Saunier is a great player. I'm going to put her on the same team as you today. You guys have fun out there together." And combined on a couple goals and chatted afterwards. And then it's funny, like she's kind of followed. We joke because she's kind of followed me everywhere I've gone. Like she went to Appleby after I left, then to Stony Creek, then to Cornell. So yeah, it's been great to have so many years playing with her. We're really good buds.
And it's funny because I heard too, so you growing up wore 11, right?
Yeah.
And Saunier actually wore 19 growing up.
Yeah.
And then you got into the national program first and they're like, here's your jersey. And you got number 19.
Yeah. And you don't really hand that jersey back, right? You're like, yes, I'll take whatever you're giving me. 19 is great.
Yes, please. Thank you. 19 is perfect. And then when Saunier made the team, I guess she had an option and she took 11. So you guys kind of swapped seat numbers on that, which is super cute. Was there any
Did you ever talk about trading back numbers?
Not really. No, and like I wore 11.
You guys are just happy. We're here. Let's both be here.
Exactly. I wore 11 at Cornell and she wore 19. And she always called me her ones. And she still calls me that, even though she's the one wearing it. But
Aw.
That's cute. Was there ever a point where you're like, Jill, this is getting creepy. Like, stop following me around?
No, I love it. Keep following me. Don't want to spark trade rumors, but keep following me.
No, it's the time of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but and speaking with a couple ladies that also attended Cornell, one of which was Jess Campbell, a lot of them said, a lot of people chose or decided to go to Cornell to follow the Brianne Jenner effect, that you had that much influence on people and selecting, their schools. And it wasn't just based on the fact that you were a stud hockey player, but also your leadership skills. I guess I'm assuming that's not the first time you've heard that.
I would have thought it'd been the Rebecca Johnson effect. I think that's what got that program going. But no, that's really cool to hear. I think when I think of my Cornell experience, it's the first thing that sticks out is the teammates. Like I think that's what made me into the player I am now, is those 4 years and how hard we practiced against each other and the level of work ethic we had. And obviously we had a little bit of fun too, but yeah, it's pretty cool to hear teammates say that about you.
I'm a bit surprised.
Most people don't know this about Jenner, Julia, but she's like, you've got a really good sense of humor. I don't know if people take you as Captain Serious, but like it's incredibly dry, and your laugh when you actually get going is so good. And I heard that there were a lot of laughs that took place with I will call them a prank war, if you will, between your freshmen and what were some of the things that took place where you guys got some good laughs and got some good licks on the freshies? Yeah,
we had a pretty serious prank war when Jill and Emily Fulton and I were seniors.
Okay.
With the rookies. There was a lot of
like you guys were just bored and like, hey, let's go get them.
Yeah, it was sort of in the Ivies, we have like intercession. I don't know if that happens at other schools, but we go back for hockey after Christmas. We don't have school for like 2 weeks. So I think it was boredom. Yeah, we got into the rookies' hotel, like put their bras in the freezer or something like that. And then they got Jill's car pretty bad.
What'd they do to it?
I don't know if you want the details on the podcast, but they trashed it pretty good. And then we grabbed their keys where they were in practice and I think put some crickets in their car. It was escalating.
Crickets are insane.
Yeah.
You never get them out.
Yeah. So
I heard the final straw was a bouquet of flowers.
Yeah. So basically, Jill and I lived together. So we like opened our front door, and there was like a vase of flowers on the front porch. And we're like, oh, and it said truce on it. So we're like, oh, okay, we won. Like they gave in. So we brought the flowers inside. This is so embarrassing. And our roommate, who had played on the hockey team before, had a Polaroid. So we're passing these flowers around, and I'm taking a photo with the flowers like right beside my face, and there's a Polaroid shot. And then right after that picture was taken, I was like, these don't smell. This something's off. And I look in the vase, and there was some excrement inside the vase. Yeah. And so we have that Polaroid shot of like all of us posing with it. So yeah, we didn't look like smart vets there. They won.
They won.
The freshmen
Did it end
won.
with that?
Yeah, it was.
It would
you
have
to tip your cap to that. So yeah,
that's the ultimate.
I don't know where
that is. No one wanted to hang him up.
Yeah, I don't know where that Polaroid ended up, but yeah.
that is so good.
Hilarious. Were you getting pranked as a freshman? Like what caused it as you moved up the years?
I think it was just that time period when there's no classes and stuff. Like people would just be looking for things to do.
So it was like a 2-week period of prank wars, and then you were like, we have to hang this up. Someone shouldn't have A's, and now it's over.
Yeah, now it's over.
Like, we can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so you talked about getting to the national team and getting tossed your number 19 jersey when you finally make it. Can you talk a little bit about what your introduction was like to, I know you did Team Ontario and stuff when you were younger, but your introduction to the national team?
Well, I just remember how like surreal it felt the first camp I showed up to, because watching, all my heroes on TV and then you're in the same dressing room, I was like, this is crazy. And I was coming from like junior hockey and then, being thrown against the best players in the world. And it was really, really challenging at first. I think finding your confidence and just convincing yourself that you belong took a bit of time. But when I think back to those first couple years, like it really kind of showed me where my gaps in my game were and what I needed to get to in order to kind of be a mainstay, and credit a lot of that to just observing, players like Hefford, Wickenheiser, Willette, Bonham, names like that. And it's been pretty cool, I think, to just be able to kind of see the team evolve over the last couple of years and just be a part of what I think is a great program and a historic program. But yeah, I think those first few years, like you're thrown into it and you just gotta, figure out your game pretty quickly. And it's the best thing I think that best experience I could have had as a young hockey player.
For you, I mean, I feel like it's different for everybody, but for yourself, what were some of those holes in the games in your game that you had that you were like, okay, I got to start working on this?
I think puck possession was a big thing, like just being able to handle a lot of like physicality and pressure and not throw pucks away. Just understanding, how to play your game within a team game, within a system. Right. Become like a 200-foot player. You have to be if you want to make a roster of 23 and, the best in the country, because everyone is so strong. And, those first couple of years in the national team, I'm playing fourth line, third line. Like you have to be able to show that you have, versatility in your game.
Totally. I remember the first thing that struck me, one of the first camps that I went to was like, okay, this is fast.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're like, I'm used to being the best and I'm used to being able to do stuff, but like now I got to do stuff really fast. And it felt like, almost like processing overload at your first camp, where you were like, I know I can do this. Like now I just got to figure out a way to like train my brain to do it. You know what I mean? I don't know if that hit you at all, but I remember being like, cripes, this is quick. And like now watching you guys play, Jenner, like you and I, we actually were stallmates back in 2009 when you centralized for 2010. And if you think about how fast that was back then, compared to what you guys are doing now, it is like mind blowing. Have you noticed a progression year to year where you're like, okay, we're here now? Or has it just been because you're training with these players consistently that it's just a natural progression that you've been able to keep up with?
I think it's felt natural, but I certainly know what you mean when it comes to like the decision making and the speed of the game. It's like when you have a Canada-US game, you have half a second less to make those decisions. And I would say, even moving from college to CWHL to now PWHL, I think that same progression has happened. It's like a second or two quicker each level. And I think the speed of the PWHL this season is about probably, the quickest that I've played outside of maybe, Canada-US.
Yeah. It's so cool that you've gotten to play in all those iterations and have kind of got to feel that progression throughout your career. Your first Olympics, 2014. I feel like we've talked a lot about this final this year because we've had quite a few people on who played in that 2014 Olympic final. What was the perspective like in the last few minutes of that game, like the puck off the post. It was such an insane sequence of events. What was it like to be maybe not a true rookie because you centralized in 2009, but be at your first Olympics and be in such an epic final game?
The most epic final.
Yeah, that game is crazy. Like, I still can't believe
insane.
it. I think you were just, what I took away from that game is like we were so in the moment. Like, I remember the conversations in the dressing room before the third, before overtime, and it was just like X's and O's. Like, lines were talking to each other, D partners were talking to each other. You know, we had some of our captains like speak up and just kind of give that like confidence boosting speech that we needed, but it just felt like everyone was just really lost in the moment, which is exactly all you can hope for when you're in a situation like that you can just kind of be in zone. And I remember being on the ice for when it hit the post, and because I was net front and Wardo had the puck at the blue, and I was like, this is great. She's gonna shoot it. I'm gonna tip it in. Here we go. And then I think it's the linesman got in her way, right? And then
knocked her.
And then I'm watching it in slow motion go back and hit as soon as it hit the post, I was like...
Did you think it was going in the whole way down? Were you like, oh my gosh, Kelly Stack has put the nail in the... You did, eh?
Yeah, I thought it was going in. But the hockey gods
spoke. And then you saw it hit the
spoke.
Post and Augusta pick it up. Were you like, here we go?
Here we go. I think I might have changed that. I don't know. It's so long ago. But yeah, it was a crazy sequence. Crazy sequence.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought a puck went in off of your butt in that game. Did it not?
No, it went close. I shot it off Bellamy's butt and in, I think. Somebody's butt.
That's what it was.
So there was a butt involved, but it wasn't mine.
There was a butt bounce.
Yeah.
You need one of those.
You mentioned a
speech.
Speech. Yeah. You mentioned a speech. Was it Deneen that gave the uplifting speech? And do you remember what those words were? But like the confidence building speech heading out?
No, I think it was like
Deneen
Heffy.
stepped in partway.
Deneen was
Jaina.
Yeah, I think it was
solid.
Happy. Deneen, yeah, he was amazing. He's a fantastic coach. And it was cool to see him last year in Utica. That's where he's based now. And he had a tough job, I think, coming in as late as he did. But he was, I think, a big piece of why we were successful.
Yeah. So I got to meet your wife, Haley, recently for the first time at a Toronto Scepters game with your very famous baby June, who I was also really starstruck to meet. But Tessa tells me you guys have like a really good story of how you met, and I don't know it. So tell me about kind of the first family in hockey. How did you guys meet?
It's the love story.
I don't
It's
know how we met.
Story.
I don't know the first time we met because it's like, she's going to be mad at me for this, but I'm really bad with details. But basically I think we played U18 Team Ontario together.
Okay.
And then trained the summer before we were going to Cornell and just kind of quickly became best friends. I think my love for training and work ethic with training, a lot of it I owe to her. She was the best training partner I had, pushed me to my limits. And yeah, I'm lucky that I got to play a lot of years with her. She was a great hockey player too. And, I feel not so much a burden, but just a lot of gratitude that I have her support in living, because I'm living out our dream. This is her dream too, being able to play in a league like this. She was one of, the past, not past generation, but the players that helped, as everyone in women's hockey, the players that helped get this off the ground. And so I definitely feel grateful that I have her support, and certainly motivates me every day to try to do best for the family.
You have to tell me the details though. Like, when did it become next level? Like, Tessa, you hyped it up. Like, what is the love story?
Podcast.
We're going from poop to love stories. That's how we do here on Jocks and Jills.
Yeah, I mean, we were pretty instantly best friends
when
we went to Cornell together, and then it didn't take very long for it to become more than that. And here we are. No going back now.
Here you are. Wait, you guys have an additional family member though. One of my favorite people from... No. One of my favorite people from Thunder Bay, Ontario lives in your house, right?
Yes. We got a new roommate this year.
Having the additional roommate from T-Bay nonetheless. Yeah,
it's great. It's great to have Sam in the house. It's so fun. And she helps me. with all my social media stuff. So that's really great.
Oh,
And
she's great at
Julia.
Yeah. She hangs out with June and the boys. And yeah, it's been really, really fun having another roommate. So I don't know how she does it though, because like, thank God she's a deep sleeper. Cause like the other day they were up at 4 a.m. and screaming. And I'm like, and she's like, oh, I slept till 8:20. I'm good. I'm like,
she doesn't even notice. Is she in the basement or something?
No, she's like upstairs. It's the only, like the fact that she's a deep sleeper is the only reason that this works.
That's amazing.
Oh my gosh. Could have been an earplug situation, but
yeah.
So you were graced with little June bug. You named June after your mom, I'm assuming, Brenda June. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And thought process on that was just like, it needs to be like, that is an homage to my mom? Or was it just like, we like that name?
Well, both. June is my grandma's middle name and my mom's middle name. So we always kind of felt that we wanted to use it. And we thought we would use it as a middle name. And then we just kind of said, we love it too much. So, and we were trying to keep it secret actually from her, but we were in the bubble for Calgary Worlds. Remember that one?
Yeah.
I was, and Haley was separate from me and she was 9 months pregnant and there was something going on where June wasn't moving that much, in the belly. And so like my mom, I was FaceTiming my mom and I'm like, well, June's not moving today. And she goes, who? And I dropped the phone because I had given up the name. And I was like, oh no. It's just, kind of standard for me. But.
Oh man.
It's standard for you. It is cute, honestly. Was she really excited? Like,
I don't know. I don't think she loves the name that much, but I think she's grown to, I don't think she's loved it as her middle name, but hey. Not her decision.
She's got no choice now. No choice, Brenda. You gotta love the name.
Yeah.
I want to talk about, because I remember when Cuddy, you and Cuddy had June, and then you decided you're going to try for another child, and then you found out it was twins. And I think it was Cuddy that texted me. She's like, "You're never going to believe this. I am pregnant again." I was like, "That's so great, so amazing, congratulations!" She's like, "With twins," and I was like, "How's Brianne?" Like, what was that surprise like?
It was. When we found out at the ultrasound, we laughed for about 10 minutes.
Was it
all
nervous?
You could do, eh?
Yeah. Like I'm okay once I have a plan. Like I'm good to roll with the punches, but I need a plan. So like when we got in the car, like I was just like, okay, well, I don't know if we can do this in this house. Like that, I was like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? We have to rearrange all the rooms because we were in a little bungalow in Toronto. And then I was like, we can't fit 3 car seats in our car. So that I just went into that mode. But once we purchased a minivan, I felt a lot better about
you went
the
into
situation.
that mode a bit.
Yeah.
Like with thinking about the logistics.
It was
we
the
need
logistics.
more car seats.
It was the logistics.
We need more
for me.
beds.
Yeah.
We need more space. That's awesome. Because I heard Buckles right before this podcast call you, what was it?
Papa J.
Papa J? Are you team dad?
I guess so. I don't know. That's like a Zoe term. I think it's just out of respect. I don't know. I don't think
you're
I'm
talking
good at
car seats.
Yeah.
You're definitely team dad.
I don't know. I'm not very handy though, so I'm not. I feel like sometimes I'm a mom dad, but sometimes I'm useless.
Just a parental
Not
figure.
at all.
Yeah.
On the team. Fair enough.
What is it like? I mean, I know you've got, a lot of kids that you're juggling, but little Junie is what, 3 now, I want to say?
Yeah, almost 3.5.
She would be 3. Yeah, I ran around. Yeah, right. Just same age as Annie almost. So how cool is it to know that your daughter is growing up in and around some of the best role models in sports? And like, what is that interaction like for her on a day-to-day basis? Like she's pretty much a boss. Like we hung out with her in Utica a bit, and she runs our show. And so I'm just assuming she runs the show. But what's it like having her in the mix around all of your teammates and stuff, and get to grow up watching her mom play in a professional league?
Honestly, like one of my lasting memories from Utica will be you and Spooner on the ice in the end, and holding Rory and June. Like it's one of the great memories from that tournament.
Yeah, those photos are really special to us. That was a really cool moment. I don't know if June realizes how unique this is. Like we've constantly got teammates coming through the house. Like she's always surrounded by these amazing women that are just giving her full attention. Like she comes to the rink and everyone knows her. I think it's really
That's what
cool.
I mean, famous baby.
Yeah,
I
like
wasn't kidding.
she's surrounded by just so much love from the girls. And so that, I think that is the coolest part about the whole experience for me. My teammates are just amazing with her, and they're amazing with the boys too. And I think she started skating this year, her and her best friend. They've done skating lessons together. They go across the road from their daycare and skate in the outdoor rink almost every day after daycare. So I think and she's starting to like just appreciate it all more and likes doing the high fives before the game. So yeah, it's really cool. And like I said, the girls are just so good with her.
Who's her favorite teammate on the Charge? Does she have like a bestie?
Sam's up there for sure. Becca Leslie is pretty high up there, but Vasco. So June's really into dress up right now. So you have to come home and put on a long dress and heels, which I love. So it's so fun.
Of course you do.
Yeah, we have fun. And Vasco has come over and put on the Princess Fiona dress a few times. So she might be up there now.
If you put on the Fiona dress,
you're in.
You are in.
You're in.
Why do you even own that? Can I ask? It's adult size.
Like, there's just so many uses for it. What do you mean? Why do you own it?
That's so true. That was a dumb question on my part.
Yeah.
I take it back. Everyone needs a Shrek costume.
Yeah.
But actually, a great video that June was in this year is that Hyundai commercial where you guys are napping in the back seat. Is that accurate? Would you say?
No, she was not sleeping. Is it accurate? Yeah. We often will have
nap in the back seat together.
They're all three of our kids are pretty good car sleepers, but she was not sleeping during that commercial. We had to go to some pretty embarrassing places as parents to get her to close her eyes for 10 seconds. Like, it got to the point of, you can have anything you want at Dairy Queen if you shut your eyes for 10 seconds.
That's got to be humbling, eh? When you're like, listen, I will do anything for this very minor thing.
We tried everything. And the director's like, okay, let's just try that again. June, can you pretend to sleep? We're like finagling her in the backseat.
She's like, I don't know, director, what are you going to give me?
Yeah.
Here, I got a dress in the back. You want to try it on? That is so good. What was to say again? Do you see a lot of yourself in her? Because I feel like, as a kid, you had to have been a little bit mischievous too. Your brother told me, a time, I mean, I guess it's cool because you get to see the sister-brother dynamic as well. Your brother told me a time when you were younger and he lost his first tooth and he put it under his pillow and was so excited for the tooth fairy to come. And apparently you were equally as excited. Stealing the tooth and putting it under your pillows. Did you see Junie pull off any heists like that with the boys?
Not yet, but I think that's coming. She's pretty smart. She's pretty conniving. I feel like her and the brothers are probably going to work against us pretty soon once they get talking.
Oh no.
There's a little bit that I see of myself in her, but I think she's definitely her own person. I think she's a greater force than me. She's very social, very outgoing. I'm just excited to see what she gets into.
I feel like every game we need a June cam. You know what I mean?
That would be awesome.
Half the time she's sleeping, so I don't know.
Then she wants to sleep. Not for the Hyundai commercial though, just for the hockey.
Yeah. But I feel like she's at the age now where she like recognizes, I know my kids do, when you leave and how long you're gone for and how much you're gone for. So for her, I'm sure that's got to be an adjustment. Is there a way you kind of ease that blow with her or make her like you going away, I guess, or have something that when you come back that she can look forward to, like maybe a day with just you or something like that?
Yeah, I definitely noticed she gets sad when I go this year a little bit more. And sometimes you get home and you get a bit of that acting out because mama, with mama. So that part's hard, but to be honest, what I've been doing is getting keychains everywhere I go for her backpack.
Really? That's a good idea.
Not trying to buy her love, but it's just something like so I can talk to her about where I went and what we did, and sort of just becomes like a conversation when we get back, and she adds it to her backpack. So that's been the strategy this year. But yeah, I definitely miss, like last year we took them on the road a lot more. But now it's just the boys are just too crazy and it's a little bit harder. So there's a bit more time away. But the great thing about this job is I get a lot of time with her in the summer and with the boys in the summer. So
Yeah,
June going to
that's
school
true.
with like 12 I love New York
Yeah.
keychains on her backpack.
Basically, yeah.
That's so awesome. The other thing that comes up a lot about you is like you put on a great show at weddings, whether it's emceeing or on the dance floor or with the beer tickets. Like you're a hot commodity when it comes to hockey weddings. Do you like have a preferred role at weddings? Like, do you like to MC? Do you like to be the beer ticket person? What's your go-to?
Well, first, I'm honored that this topic came up. This is what I want to be remembered for,
Good.
I think, when my career is
Yes.
over.
For sure.
I think my greatest, role is on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a good.
I heard you can cut a rug pretty good.
I'm a good wedding dancer, a good dressing room dancer, good wedding dancer. MCing was really fun. Like Haley and I together MC'd Blair's wedding, and that was a blast. Just getting to like work on that speech together, and we had so much fun. And the audience was quite kind to us as well. It was just like a bunch of our hockey teammates. So
That's great.
officiating was I don't think I want to officiate again. Like,
whose did you officiate?
I officiated.
I didn't know you did that role.
Blair and Ryan's too. I'm a justice of peace in Nova Scotia.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What?
Yeah.
That's very casual. Did you do an online course? Like, did you have to go to the courthouse?
You don't want to know I don't even know if what I did was legal. Like this might have their marriage annulled, but basically like I tried to get it. You have to get it in your own province first. So I looked at Ontario. That process is really intense, probably as it should be. So then I was like, I know, let's just go to the Wild West. So I like looked at Alberta, said I was marrying them in Alberta, got that, sent it over to Nova Scotia. I think she might have called the premier, to be honest. Got it pushed through.
That's casual.
And then,
this is a nice player.
I think they're legally married. I'm still not sure if they're legally married, but
they're really happy, whatever they are. So good for them. That's good. It was a fun wedding. You guys had a good time. That's what matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a hard role because it was like pouring. So it was pouring rain. And like I'm walking out there and then the wedding planner tells me as we're walking down the aisle, you won't have a mic. So it's pouring rain. I'm screaming their vows at them. Like it was just, yeah, it was tough.
That is so good. I love that stuff. Yeah. Definitely being in charge of having someone wed, I think, is a lot more stressful than just the fun MC part.
Yeah.
Have you done that,
especially if you did it illegally. Yeah, I did it for Julie Allen and Courtney, my two friends. Yeah, I got them married. But like I was just, it wasn't legal. They had already gotten married at the city hall. So I did nothing illegal like Brianne did. So
yeah. No, this was illegal. And the paperwork was like getting rained on. So it was like all the signatures were bleeding. I was like, we'll mail this off and see how it goes.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Well, my job here is done. Hope everyone has a good night.
Hope
Who was it at that
fun.
wedding again that caught the bouquet? That was the most epic bouquet catch again. Was that Clarky?
Was it Clark?
I want to say it was Clarky or Borbs. I don't know. One of those two.
Oh. It was a reach back, jumped as high as they have ever jumped in their whole life, and just Odell Beckham Jr.'d it. Mm-hmm. I heard. We got to go back and listen to our old episodes, Julia. We're rusty.
I know. I think it was Clark. Jenner, this has been so much fun today. I guess before we let you go, like Ottawa's on such a tear right now. What a streak you guys have been on at home. Can you talk about how your team has grown as a group this season, and maybe like did the city of Edmonton fuse you together as a group?
Yeah, we had a nice like 4-day vacation in Edmonton in the -30
and that's what
weather.
did it. It solidified the group. You couldn't leave. You had to huddle together for warmth for 4 days, and now you're trucking.
No, I think it's been really nice to be home. I mean, the first, it not an excuse at all, but the first half of the year we're on the road for 11 of 15. I think it wore on us a little bit. It's nice to be home, nice to be in our arena, and I think just sticking with the process, and things are starting to click and starting to get rewarded for the work that we're putting in. So hopefully we can keep it going.
Yeah, can't wait to watch. Thanks for sitting with us today, and good luck the rest of the season. We'll be watching.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I did not think Jenner was a pranker. Like that was such an underrated personality trait. I totally could tell. Like if you told me Brianne Jenner is hilarious, like that tracks to me. I could so see her having exactly the type of sense of humor that she has, the dry, like really hilarious sense of humor. It kind of reminds me of like Keith Yandel or something as an NHL comparison. Dry and just funny that everyone loves. Yeah. But man, I didn't expect her to be a prankster. I was crying when they were talking about the prank wars with the underclassmen.
So Jenny loves nothing more than a good giggle, okay? And it could be at anyone's expense. And she obviously isn't the person that like wants the attention for the giggle. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But I feel like through her explanation that they were bored and, you know, she wanted a good laugh. Why not? But I love that the freshies took it to him. That made my day. Like
Epic.
There is nothing better than the freshmen just showing the seniors right where to go. Like exits that way, guys. Like we're the new crew. Carry on.
Absolutely epic. So like, and honestly, thank you to her for telling that story so perfectly too. Like I can't imagine it being told any better. Brianne was such a treat. Thank you to her so much for coming on the pod, joining us. Our Send It segment this week, Tessa. One question from Facebook. And again, if you guys want to get in touch with us, if you have any questions about the PWHL or the podcast or us, you can fire us a message on YouTube in the comment section. If you have a question for the Send It segment, just say that. Instagram, X, TikTok, Facebook, Blue Sky. Get in touch with us in any of those places. Mostly I find that I look through Instagram DMs and Facebook messages, honestly, when I'm looking for Send It segment questions. Here it is from Sladdell on Facebook. Hi, guys. I have a question about the Walter Cup. When a team wins the cup, do they get a replica version of the cup to keep? I saw the Walter Cup at the Hockey Hall of Fame with a nameplate saying Walter Cup, but then days later, a Walter Cup lookalike trophy with a PWHL Minnesota nameplate showed up on Minnesota player posts. Many confused question marks. You're a good detective, Sla.
Yeah. So this is not like a Stanley Cup. Like there will not be team names added to it. This will be like an NBA championship or a World Series trophy. It is a trophy that you win. So there is the original Walter Cup that they hand out when you win. That is the cup. Or it's not even a cup, really.
It's very pointy. It's like futuristic. It's
what
Tiffany.
would you call it? It's a trophy.
Cool.
It's a Walter trophy.
Yeah.
Although it's called the Walter Cup officially. However,
it has a cup on it though, right? You can drink out of it.
You're right. There is a cup at the top.
Yeah.
So it is a cup.
Pointy and there's a cup.
Yeah, because the sticks. There's the sticks.
Yeah.
Anyways.
We're so artistic, you and me, with our design.
Great with words. Anyways, yes, they do get their own trophy or their own replica of the Walter Cup to put in their trophy cases.
Very cool.
Just
very cool. That's the standard though. It's the Stanley Cup is the exception and the coolest exception. Like it's any player from any other league, NBA, NFL will tell you that the Stanley Cup has the coolest trophy in sports. It's just cool with all the history on it.
Yeah.
It's unique to the NHL.
Shout out to the Grey Cup too though, because that's the old, isn't that the oldest one?
No, you're right. You're right. It is. We post that graphic. We used to post that graphic every year at TSN. I can't believe I forgot that. Shout out to Grey Cup.
Julia, I have to say really quickly that I recently did a drive up north and back, just a down and back. And I was listening to the Call Her Daddy podcast and Chelsea Handler was on it. And Alex Cooper asked Chelsea Handler a question about, I can't even remember the term she used. And I was like, what the heck? I literally said, what the heck out loud. And then Chelsea Handler said verbatim, it was like me listening to us having a conversation. And she's like, I don't even know what that means. You make me feel like I'm a million years old. Like, go on.
What was it?
What? I wish I could remember, but I started.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Laughing.
I haven't listened to the whole Chelsea Handler episode. I know you listened to the Monica Lewinsky one. I just listened to that one too. So good.
It was great. Both of them were awesome. Chelsea was just Chelsea being her amazing self.
Funny.
And
she was great on Kylie Kelsey too.
Yeah. She got a book tour, right? Her 7th book just dropped at the end of March. So, she's been around and just got surgery.
Don't worry,
apparently.
Chelsea. We gave you some promo there too. If you want to come on our show, we also promote the book.
Come to a game. Never mind the show. Come hang.
Oh, that would be sick.
She would just
push a lot of it.
She would push a lot of drugs on us at the game. That's Chelsea's thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
She told this great story. Was it on Call Her Daddy? Like she has this great vacation house somewhere and
oh yeah, and the
she
old
saw
couple?
that. Yeah, she saw this old couple were in love. She gave them drugs and sent them out on a kayak, and they said it was the best night ever.
She's got a winter house that's in Whistler, BC.
Oh yeah,
and she actually gave a shout out to Canada on the pod for its awesomeness and also the drugs out in Western Canada. She's like, Chelsea Handler's wild. Like, I still want to hang out with her, but I would also be very scared hanging out with her. You know what I mean?
Know.
It'd be
like I want to be cool enough to hang out with her, but I don't think I am. Like, I think I'm more fun than I actually am.
am not. Well, maybe, you know what? Back in the day, I could rip. It's just like, I would have to guaranteed have like a week off from my kids, you know? Probably.
Right. Yeah, that would be vital for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, I had to share that because I thought it was funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Chelsea Handler's awesome. You've been sending me Chelsea Handler stuff all week being like, this is you. And I feel like
it is.
She is. She is me. Okay. We said we were going to have a short episode, guys. That's just impossible for us. We love you all. And we love every week when we get to sit down with you 2 times. It truly is the highlight of our weeks and the greatest honor to get to talk women's hockey with you all. So we love you. We will talk to you on Friday. In the meantime, get in touch on YouTube, on Instagram, X, Facebook, Blue Sky. Please follow us on Facebook. We're growing there significantly. And if you send us a Send It segment question on there, I see them all. So send them there. Love you guys. We will enjoy the games and we will miss you until Friday.